സ്നേഹാലോകസുമോഹനവദനാം കരുണാദ്രാനത നയനാം രമ്യാം ശ്രിതജനപാലന വ്യഗ്രാം സൗമ്യാം അമൃതാനന്ദമയീം പ്രണമാമി. Om Amardeshwari Namaha. My humble pranams to all my divine sisters and brothers. I feel very blessed to share some of my thoughts with all of you. The whole world is passing through a very tough time. We have never experienced such a difficult situation in our life. People all over the world is suffering because of the coronavirus attack. A tiny, invisible virus could suspend all the activities of the modern life. Actually, Amma had mentioned about this upcoming disaster long before. During Amma's world tours, Indian tours, at every venue, Amma started her speech with a reminder, with a strong warning. Amma said, "Children, nature is agitated because of the selfish thoughts and actions of people. Amma sees only darkness everywhere. If people continue to live like this, there could be unimaginable reaction from nature. We need to do more prayers and we need to protect the purity of this nature, plant more trees, protect birds and animals. Otherwise, nature will try to adjust itself, which we may feel as a natural disaster." Actually, Amma says the solution for this problem is to become more and more closer to this nature. We need divine help to overcome this crisis. During my college days, I had a strong feeling that technology is enough to solve human problems. A divine help is not necessary. That time, I used to go to many places where I heard about supernatural powers, evil spirits, haunted houses, and went to people who used to claim that they have got divine powers. Every place, human faith was exploited in the name of God. I stayed in haunted houses, stayed in graveyards, and found that evil spirits are much more harmless than human beings. That search brought me to Amma. I asked Amma so many questions. I asked Amma, "Is there a God?" Amma said, "It is a foolish question. It is just like asking whether you have a tongue with your own tongue. Why are you inquiring now?" I said, "If there is a God, I have got such an anger to kill him." Amma asked, "Why?" In this world, so many people are suffering from poverty and various kinds of diseases. Some are leading luxurious life. In this creation, each creature is the food of another creature. If there is a God who created such a cruel world, I have got such an anger to kill him." Amma said, I like you. Because you are angry towards God, not because of selfishness, out of compassion to the suffering. God dwells in such a heart where there is love and compassion. Then Amma said, God is not somebody who punishes everyone. He is the protector. How can He punish us? He is the embodiment of love, embodiment of compassion. We are punishing ourselves through our words and action. Amma said, after throwing stones up, don't expect flowers back. Amma reminded me Newton's law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. It is applicable not only in the gross level, but also in the subtle level. Even the thoughts has its own reaction. Do you know what happens when you think? When we think, energy is being sucked from the body and getting converted into thought energy. When we think about something, we are transmitting thought waves. It travels with the speed of light, strike all the objects of this world, and become millions times more powerful and come back to you. If you transmit a positive thought, it can come back as a blessing. If you transmit a negative thought, it can come back as a curse. So, your future can be changed if you know how to change the qualities of your present thoughts. God is not responsible for that. Amma said, if you throw stone up, it has to come down. It may fall on your head. It is not the fault of the stone. It is not the fault of the earth. It is the rule of the nature. Nature has no compassion. Nature has only rules. God is embodiment of love and compassion, but nature has only rules. If a learned man jump from the balcony, or an illiterate man jump from the balcony, or the minister jump from the balcony, or a beggar jump from the balcony, or a child jump from the balcony, the result would be the same. So we have to follow the rules of the nature to lead a blissful life. That rule is called dharma. If you violate dharma, then human life can become full of suffering. God is not responsible for all of that. You are allowed to enjoy driving, but we are supposed to follow the traffic rules. If you say, I am over 18, I am not ready to bow down in front of this dirty red light, then your life can end up in the middle of the highway. We have to bow down in front of an ordinary light to enjoy driving. Just like that, we are supposed to follow the rules of this nature. Otherwise, there will be severe reaction from this nature. I asked Amma, are you God? Amma said, I am crazy. Nobody is putting me in jail, that's why I am here. You need not believe me or a God in heaven. You believe in you. Everything is there within you, just like a huge tree is potent in a small seed. Divinity is there in all being. Invoke that divinity through good action, through praise, through meditation. You can reach the supreme state of perfection. God is not a person, it is a position. Anyone can reach that supreme state of perfection. Just like president of a country is not a person. Prime minister of a country is not a person. Anybody can become the president of the country, anybody can become the prime minister of the country, but you need the votes of the people. Like that, to reach the supreme state of perfection, you need the blessings of each and every objects of this world. We should be ready to bow down everywhere. After seeing all the divine qualities of God in Amma, I stopped my search for God. And I had a feeling all the scientists should be against God. After my studies, when I joined Raman Research Institute, Bangalore, one of the super scientists, she was a Christian lady, she was my boss. She gave me a beautiful advice. She told me, you are going to do research on solar radiation. So please chant Gayatri Mantra a few times before you start your research work, because it is impossible to become successful in your research work without intuition. To become successful in your life, this intuitive knowledge is very much necessary. All of you must be knowing Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhutbhuvasvaha Tassaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodayat. When the Rishi saw the rising sun, he did not think it as a fireball. Instead, he could feel divinity radiating from that sun. He prayed, O Sun God, you illumine all the objects in this creation. You transmit light and energies to the entire beings in this world and also other worlds. Please illumine my intellect also. Actually, it was a prayer to the nature for intuitive knowledge. In his prayer, he said, O Sun God, you transmit light and energy to the entire beings in this world and also other world. That means he was not just praying to this external sun. When he saw the rising sun, he could think about the millions of suns shining in the sky. All the stars are also suns. And he thought about the sun which illumines all these external suns. That is Atma Surya. He was praying to the Atma Surya which is shining within. So he prayed to the Atma Surya, please illumine my intellect also. Actually, it was a prayer for intuitive knowledge. Intuitive knowledge is very much necessary to become successful in our life, no matter whether it is in the personal life, professional life, spiritual life. Everywhere we need this intuitive knowledge. One wrong decision is enough to destroy all our achievements in life. One wrong decision is enough to destroy our whole life. Decision making is very important. So we should feel the right answer from within when you have to take a sudden decision in your life. Intellectual knowledge cannot help us. You should feel the right answer from within. For that, we need to activate intuitive knowledge. How is it possible to activate that intuitive knowledge? That is possible through our purity. To get that purity, we need to do prayer. We need to do spiritual practices. We need to get connected with this cosmic intelligence. Amma studied only up to 4th grade, but she got a doctorate degree from the State University of New York. During the ceremony, I was present. Scholars from all over the world were present. After the ceremony, some of them came to see Amma and they asked Amma several questions. Amma gave beautiful answers for their questions. And they were wondering, Amma, how is it possible to answer all these difficult questions without thinking? Amma said, it is possible because I don't know anything. Then Amma made a beautiful statement. Amma said, if you can become empty, you can enjoy the beauty of fullness. Through spirituality, we are trying to get that purity of emptiness. So Amma's knowledge is not coming out of intellect, that's through intuition. I remember during Amma's first Bombay visit, a group of scientists from Baba Atomic Research Center came to meet Amma. They asked Amma so many questions for 2.5 hours. Amma answered all their questions. And finally, Amma asked them one question which made all the scientists silent. Amma asked them, what is more expansive than outer space? The scientists could not answer that question. Then Amma gave the answer. Amma said, the inner world. What have you done to explore the mysteries of the inner world? Fountain of happiness is within. Try to find that fountain of happiness. I remember one of the last words of the greatest scientist. He said, I have spent my whole lifetime to learn more and more about this external world, but I am totally ignorant about my inner world. Now I am dying like an animal without having any control over my body. The last words of a super scientist. Amma said, we need to find out the source of knowledge from within. For that, we need to chant mantra, we need to do selfless actions, we need to practice meditation. Then only we can really enjoy our life. Our purity is very important. Our innocence is much more powerful than our intelligence. To get that innocence, modern education alone is not enough. We can see when people go to Amma, they cry without any reason. When they cry, if you ask them, what are you crying for? They would say, I don't know. Only children can cry without any reason. When we go near Amma, we become like a child. Amma activates the innocence from within. So this innocence is much more powerful than our intelligence. Amma says, to become successful in our life and also to reach supreme state of perfection, we should become an instrument in the hands of God. I remember one of the incidents happened during Amma's world tour. One of Amma's spiritual son, Viveka, he's from Japan. That time actually he did not become an inmate of the ashram. He came for Amma's US tour. After Amma's Boston program, he was supposed to go back to Japan. He wanted to tell Amma something. Devi Bhava was going on. He came to me. He asked me to translate his question to Amma. It was not actually a question. He wanted to tell Amma, Amma, please make me your instrument. He wanted me to write that in Malayalam language so that he can tell Amma directly in Malayalam. So I tried to teach him, Amme, enne ninde upakaranamakkane. He could easily repeat it. He said, Amme, enne ninde upakaranamakkane, Amme, enne ninde upakaranamakkane, repeated for several times. He said, oh, I am fine now. I can tell Amma. He went back to the queue. After 1 minute, he came back again. I forgot. Please teach me again. I tried to teach him. Finally, he said, no, for safety, I should write on my palm. He, from the pen, he wrote in Japanese letters on his palm. He went back to the queue. I wanted to see what was happening near Amma. So I stood just behind Amma. Amma didn't see me. And when he reached near Amma, he became blank. He couldn't ask. He couldn't tell. He looked at Amma. Then all of a sudden, he thought about the writing. He tried to read what was written on the palm, but he couldn't see it clearly because somebody has already taken his glass. So, eyes filled with the tears. Then Amma turned back. I was standing there, and she was looking at the teacher. Then Amma said, now only he became a real instrument. Instrument cannot speak. Instrument allow the musicians to play on it. We should become like an instrument in front of God. Then divine music will come out. So, Amma gave us that strength to allow Amma to work through us because of her divine love. A certain amount of purity is needed to feel that total surrender. It is not very easy to get that total surrender. We need that strong connection with the Master to become a real instrument. Just like a stone allow the sculpture to remove the unwanted portion, then beautiful form of the deity comes out. Then the stone will be installed in the shrine of a temple. It is getting the strength to save the lives of millions of people, give happiness to millions of people. Amma says, purpose of our life is to reach the supreme state of perfection, to become the embodiment of happiness. I remember during Amma's world tour, one young man asked Amma a question. He said, Amma, I know you from the very beginning of my life. Every year when you come to California, I used to meet you, get your blessings. Now I have completed my studies, got a very good job. Should I get married? Amma said, son, if you don't want happiness, get married. Actually, I was translating, but he did not understand that. He looked at me. Then Amma explained, if you want to give happiness, get married. If you expect happiness, you may get disappointed. Whoever has expected happiness so far never found it. If you become a giver of happiness, certainly you will get it. That is the rule of the nature. Instead of searching for happiness, try to become a giver of happiness. Amma was actually teaching him the basic of spirituality, essence of spirituality. Become a giver of happiness. The whole world will start loving you. See, Amma is the example. If you search for happiness, it is impossible to find happiness. Become a giver of happiness. Amma demonstrates this truth through her life. She is the giver of happiness. She doesn't need anything from anyone. Amma says to get happiness, we have to follow certain rules. To lead a blissful life, we need to follow certain rules of this nature. To reach the supreme state of perfection, we need to follow certain rules of this nature. That rule is dharma. We are supposed to follow 5 dharmas. It is called Panchamaha Yajna. The first obligation is to the devas. We need the blessings of God to become successful in our action, and also we need the blessings of the God to reach the supreme state of perfection. Every day we are supposed to do prayers. Before using a machine, electronic machine, we should charge the battery. Just like that, before we start our daily activities, we are supposed to do prayers. We have to charge ourselves with the divine energy to become perfect in our activities, to get perfection in our activities, and also to get divine grace. We need to do prayers at least 2 times a day. Morning is good for prayer because the atmosphere is very pure. It is easy to get concentration. You can absorb maximum divine energy much more faster than other time. This time also we should do prayers because that time it will be full of negative energy. If we do not do prayer that time, we can be affected by the negative vibrations. That's our obligation to gods. The second dharma is to the rishis. The rishis have revealed all the secrets to overcome all the difficulties of life and to reach the supreme state of perfection through Vedas. So we need to learn the essence of Vedas and also teach our children and others the secrets of this creation and also how to live in this world and lead a blissful life. That's our duty to the rishis. And also we have certain duty to our ancestors. Whatever we enjoy in this lifetime is because of the effort of our ancestors. We need to remember them, we need to do rituals for them, and also we should take care of old people and make them happy. That's our duty to the ancestors. That's also considered as the duty to ancestors. And for this Narayajna, that is our duty to our fellow beings. And also we have certain duty to us. We should take care of our body, Amma says. Keep the body healthy. Keep the body pure. Respect the body. Don't insult the body. We should be able to respect our body. We have no right to destroy this body. We have no right to insult this body because we need the blessings of the body to reach God. We need the blessings of the body to become successful in our life. Don't ignore the body. Keep the body healthy and keep the body pure. To keep the body healthy, eat easily digestible food, drink pure drinks, and also Amma is insisting to do yoga or exercise to keep the body healthy. And also keep the mind healthy. Always have positive imagination. Chant your mantra. Chant a mantra all the time. It will purify the qualities of the thoughts. If you have a pure, healthy body and pure mind, then it will be getting enough strength to do good actions and also spiritual practices. And also, we should share our fortunes with our fellow beings. We may not be able to help everyone, but it is possible for us to say consoling words, show love and compassion to others. We should be able to share our fortunes. That is our duty to the fellow being, that's Nare. Lastly, the Bhuta Yajna. We have certain duties to all the beings in this world. We should respect plants, respect birds, respect animals. To keep the harmony of this nature, we need the blessings of birds and animals. During Amma's 50th birthday, the program celebration was conducted at the International Stadium, Cochin. There was 5 days celebration. People from all over the world gathered there, and there was different types of cultural programs every day. One day, the cultural programs from all the countries, traditional programs, all the countries were there. The Red Indians of America, they performed a program, dance program with the costumes of birds and animals. The television people asked them one question: why you presented a dance program with the costumes of birds and animals? Then they said, according to our faith, when God created this world, He asked the Devas and Devatas to become plants, birds and animals. We need to respect them. We need to protect them because they are our protectors. The Devas and Devatas became birds, animals and plants to protect us. If you destroy them, you are destroying our protectors. So to show the importance of plants, birds and animals, we conducted this program. So it is our duty to protect the plants, birds and animals. Amma is also telling us to plant more trees, protect birds and animals. You can see how Amma showed love and compassion to all beings in this world. So if we follow these 5 dharmas, it will be easy for us to get purification and reach the supreme state of perfection. To overcome all the problems of life and also to reach the supreme state of perfection, we need to do prayers, we need to practice meditation, we need to do selfless actions. So meditation is very important. Actually, meditation is a journey through the unknown territories of life. It is not very easy to teach meditation. It just happens. Whatever we do in the name of meditation is not meditation. It is a preparation for meditation. Just like nobody can teach you how to sleep. But we can close the doors, arrange the birds, switch off the lights, and lie down on the bed, wait for the sleep to come. Without your knowledge, you slip into the state of sleep. Just like we do certain preparations. Later, without our knowledge, we slip into the state of meditation. Amma says, meditation is a journey through the unknown territories of life. At present, we know very little about this external world. All the information we get through the sense organs need not be correct. We cannot see all the races. We cannot hear all the sound waves. We cannot detect all the smell. There are much more stronger sound waves like radio waves, ultrasonic waves, which are not audible to human beings. There are strong light rays like X-rays, cosmic rays. We cannot see it. The power of the sense organs are very limited. We have to go beyond the sense organs. To go beyond the sense organs, we have to practice meditation. Then it is possible for us to open our third eye. That is possible through our purity. So meditation is a journey through the unknown territories of life. To practice meditation, first we have to learn to sit like a statue. Don't worry about concentration. Concentration is not meditation. In concentration, there is effort. Meditation is total relaxation. So a person who practices meditation should train the body to sit like a statue. When there is movement, oscillation of the mind will be maximum. So first we train the body to sit without any movement. That means we need to develop asana siddhi. Asana siddhi means we should be able to sit for a long time without any movement. Second is mantra siddhi. That is, even when you sit for a long time, the mind, oscillation of the mind decreases, but still mind will be functioning. Mind is flow of thoughts. When the number of thoughts are maximum, mental strength will be minimum. When the number of thoughts are minimum, mental strength will be maximum. So we need to decrease the oscillation of the mind. Don't try to stop the thoughts. If you try to stop the thoughts, it will come back with double the force. So in meditation, we have to use certain tricks to remove the thoughts. Bhagavad Gita starts with a sloka. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveda yujulsava mamaga pandava chaiva kimakurvada sanjaya. The blind king is asking his minister Sanjaya, what is happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? He's a blind king. All of us are also like Dhritarashtra, blind. We have never tried to see what is happening within. We are always trying to see outside. Never try to go inside. Constant fight is happening within. Mahabharata war is happening within all the time without our knowledge. Fight between our negativities and virtues. Negativities, the virtues were sent to the forest. Only negativity is getting activated. The society always tries to activate our negative qualities. Nobody is there to see our goodness. Only Guru can see our goodness. Guru can activate our virtues. So a person who practices spirituality, he is trying to find out what is happening within. That is the first step of meditation. A seeker tries to find out what is happening in the battlefield of inner world. Constant fight is happening. When he tries to watch what is happening, he may lose his confidence because negative qualities are more in numbers. Our good qualities are not enough to fight with these negativities. How I am going to become successful in my spiritual practice? He may lose confidence like Arjuna. Arjuna is really powerful, but he lost confidence in the Kurukshetra war field. I remember one story. One incident happened in a college. In the exam hall, one of the students fainted. The professor rushed to the spot. He sprinkled some water on the face of the student. He opened his eyes. Professor asked, "What happened?" The student said, "Sir, I have studied very well, but I don't remember anything now." This happens to many students. When they enter the exam hall, they forget everything. When they come out of the exam hall, they remember everything. So same thing happened to this student. He said, "I don't remember anything." Then professor told a secret in his ear. Immediately he jumped up, started writing the exam. He won the first rank. What is the secret told by the professor? The same secret told by Krishna to Arjuna. Arjuna almost fainted in the middle of the battlefield. Then Krishna told a secret. That secret is Bhagavad Gita. Essence of that knowledge is transferred to Arjuna within seconds. Just like we transfer lot of information from one pen drive to the computer hard disk. Just like that, Guru could transfer all the knowledge within seconds, just by a look, just by a touch. So the Krishna told Arjuna a secret. Arjuna, don't worry. My Sudarshana Chakra, the spinning wheel alone, is enough to destroy the entire Kauravas within seconds. You just throw an arrow. I will do the rest. But I want you to get the credit. So, please throw an arrow. Immediately Arjuna got confidence. He fought without fear and won the battlefield. Just like that, the professor told the student, "Oh, my child, I know you are a very intelligent student. I am going to evaluate your paper. I know you work very hard. So you just write something, I will give you the full mark." Immediately, the student got back the lost confidence. He wrote everything without the help of the professor. He could write everything and got the first rank. This is the action of the Guru. Guru gives us confidence. Amma gives us confidence. Nobody is there to inspire us. So many people are there to disappoint us in this life. But Guru is the person who inspires us. That inspiration takes us much faster to God. So in meditation, we are trying to get connected with our master. We will be able to hear the voice of the master within when we become empty. For that, we need to chant a mantra to replace the thoughts. When you chant the mantra again and again, it will erase all other thoughts and you get a tuning with the cosmic power, cosmic intelligence, falling with the master. Then you will be getting the answers for all your questions within. So in meditation, first we try to train the body so that it can sit for a long time without any movement. Then we replace the thoughts by chanting a mantra. Afterwards, even mantra disappears. Then we reach the state of meditation. All the meditation techniques are to dissolve the mind. Natural scenes have a mysterious power to dissolve the mind. Music has got a mysterious power to dissolve the mind. Now we will do a short meditation. You can just listen this music. Imagine all of you are sitting near the ocean side watching the beautiful sunsets. I play a raga which creates the feeling of the dusk time. All the objects of this world are longing to merge back with the Supreme. There's a longing within each one of us. When we sit near the ocean side, we can feel more. If you are alone, if you watch the sunset, sunset time is the dusk ceremony of the day. You feel that longing from within. Activate that longing. Listen to this music. Meditate on the sunset. Music has a mysterious power to dissolve the mind. Natural scenes also has that power to dissolve the mind. All the meditation techniques are to dissolve the mind. When we stop all the activities of the body and mind, we get a tuning with the next layer of experience, which is much more beautiful than the present experience. Usually, we chant Om few times before we start meditation. Om has a mysterious power to disconnect you from this external world. It is a combination of 3 sounds. A, U, N. When we say A, mouth is fully opened. It represents the waking state. All our sense organs are fully open to the external world. It is called Jagrad Avastha, the waking, so-called waking state. And when we say U, partially opened, mouth is partially open, it represents the dream state, semi-conscious state. And when we say completely closed, it represents the deep sleep state. In Sanskrit, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Conscious state, semi-conscious state, unconscious state. Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. There is one more state which we have never experienced. That is the state of Turiya. The Turiya state, the superconscious state. The fourth state, fourth part of Om is silence. When we chant Om, we go beyond the waking state, dream state and deep sleep state and reach the fourth state, silence. This silence is also included along with Om. Fourth part is silence. It represents the superconscious state. In meditation, we are trying to reach that turiya state. Then we will come to know all the secrets about this creation. All of you, please imagine that you are sitting near the ocean side watching the beautiful sunset. All the objects of this world is longing to merge back with the Supreme. There's a longing within everyone. We can feel that longing while sitting near the ocean side watching the beautiful sunset. Activate that longing. Listen to this music. Meditate on the sunset. Please repeat Om Shanti and feel the peace within. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you very much for your patience. Namaskar.